technology harnesses machine learning techniques, feeding the computer real data about images so it can create the fake.
And doing things that they never said or did.
If someone stole your password, you would just change it. Lock everything down. Adjust a couple of settings. But what happens when someone steals your face? Not your account, not your phone, not your bank card, your face, your voice, your identity. And then they turn it into a video that never happened, a phone call you never made, or a scandal that can no longer be erased. That is where we are right now. Deepfakes are no longer just weird internet memes. They are no longer just face swaps of celebrities, and they definitely are not harmless anymore. Because in 2026, this technology is leaving the category of fun AI and moving directly into the world of fraud, humiliation, blackmail, harassment, and manipulation. And here is the scariest part. You do not need to be famous to become a target. You just need to exist on the internet. A lot of people still think about deepfakes the old way, like some ridiculous fake clip, like a badly stitched voice, like something obviously fake that people will laugh at for 5 seconds and then scroll past. That version is already dead. The new version is cleaner, faster, cheaper, easier, and more importantly, it does not even need to be perfect. It just needs to be convincing for one moment, and that is enough. A few seconds of doubt, a few seconds of panic, a few seconds of thinking, wait, is this actually real? That tiny window is already enough for a lie to spread, for someone to send money, for trust to collapse, or for someone's reputation to be destroyed. And we already know this is not just theory. Just a few days ago, the city of Baltimore sued xAI, claiming that Grok generated non-consensual sexualized deepfake images, including images involving minors. Reuters reported that, according to Baltimore, Grok flooded X with that kind of synthetic content, and the lawsuit cited an estimate of roughly 3 million realistic sexualized images created over 11 days earlier this year. Think about what that means. One American city is filing a lawsuit not over some futuristic idea. It is doing it because this has already become real enough, large enough, and dangerous enough to require a legal response. And that is a very serious shift. This is no longer a story that sounds like, maybe one day AI will become a problem. This is a story about the fact that the problem is already here, the content is already spreading, and the systems around it are still trying to catch up. And this is bigger than one company, bigger than one platform. The FBI has already warned that malicious actors are using AI-generated voice messages and impersonation against people connected to senior U.S. officials. In a separate 2024 warning, the FBI also said that criminals are using AI for phishing, social engineering, and voice and video cloning in order to trick people into sending money or giving up sensitive information. The FTC also warned that scammers can clone the voice of a loved one and call while pretending there is an emergency, in order to pressure the victim into sending money quickly before they have time to verify anything. Deepfakes are dangerous not because they look impressive. They are dangerous because they target the oldest human weaknesses: trust, urgency, fear, shame, authority. If a stranger messages you asking for money, you get suspicious. But if your mom calls you crying, if your boss sounds scared, if a video shows up where it looks like you, your mind stops thinking clearly very quickly. It reacts. And that is the exact moment when the damage happens. So who gets hit first? Not just celebrities. Yes, public figures become targets because their faces and voices are easier to collect from open sources. But ordinary people are vulnerable too. Students, employees, creators, ex-partners, parents, teenagers, small businesses, anyone with public photos, videos, streams, podcasts, voice messages, or clips on social media. In other words, almost everyone. And the people making this kind of content are not all the same. Some are scammers who want money. Some are abusers who want control. Some are stalkers who want humiliation. Some are clout chasers who want attention. Some are acting out of political motives. Some just want chaos. Different motives. One weapon. Your identity becomes raw material. That is the real shift. In the old internet, they could steal your files. In the new internet, they can fabricate you. They do not need a leak. They do not need a hack. They do not need access to your phone. They can build a fake version of you from the content you already posted online yourself. And that is a much darker internet than most people are willing to admit. And if you think all of this only matters in some weird corners of the internet, no, it does not. Europol has warned that deepfakes can be used for public disinformation, political and election influence, fraud, and manipulation in corporate environments. Europol has also said that many people in law enforcement see deepfakes as one of the most alarming technological trends through 2030. And that matters because once fake media becomes cheap and mass-produced, a fake video can go viral in minutes. A correction can take hours. A technical analysis can take days. A court case can take months. There is an even darker layer to this. Deepfakes do not just create fake evidence. They also help destroy trust in real evidence. Because the moment the world gets used to fake audio and fake video, every real clip suddenly comes with a built-in escape route for denial. That wasn't me. My voice was cloned. The video was generated. The image was made by AI. And now innocent people can be framed, while guilty people can hide behind the claim that everything is supposedly fake. That is a nightmare for victims, a nightmare for journalists, a nightmare for courts, a nightmare for investigators, and honestly, a nightmare for ordinary people who are just trying to figure out what is actually real. So this is not just a story about awkward fake videos. This is a story about the collapse of shared reality. And when reality becomes unstable, power shifts to whoever is louder, faster, richer, or more cunning. And that should worry everyone. And America is not isolated from this. In the United States, there is already a fraud side to this problem, an impersonation side, a scam side, a political manipulation side, and now also a major legal conflict in Baltimore over synthetic sexualized images. And outside the US, authorities are starting to react faster too. Reuters reported on March 26th that a major German case involving AI-generated pornographic deepfakes triggered mass protests in Berlin and pushed Germany's justice minister toward plans to criminalize not just the distribution of these deepfakes, but their creation as well. And that shows where all of this is going. This is no longer a problem for some extreme edge cases. It is becoming a problem for laws and politics, a problem for platforms, a problem for public trust, and a problem for personal safety. So what do you actually do about this in practice? First, stop thinking that "I'm not famous" means "I'm safe." That mindset is outdated. Second, start treating urgent voice messages and videos differently. If someone calls using a relative's voice and asks for money, verify it through another channel. If your boss sends a strange voice message and asks for financial information, verify it. If some explosive video suddenly appears, do not rush to share it. The FTC specifically recommends calling back using a number you already know and confirming the story independently. Third, close the most obvious weak points. Use multi-factor authentication. Limit how much personal information is publicly available wherever you can. Be more careful about posting long, clean samples of your voice all over the internet. And separate your public identity from your private recovery channels. The FBI recommends MFA and stricter verification habits because AI-assisted phishing and cloning are already being used in real-world schemes. Fourth, create a verification rule inside your family before a crisis happens. A code word, a callback rule, a rule that says no money gets sent without confirmation. It sounds simple, because it really is simple. And those simple rules are exactly what save people when panic kicks in. And finally, understand the new rule of the internet. Seeing is no longer proof. Hearing is no longer proof. A confident tone is no longer proof. And virality definitely is not proof. Verification is now a survival skill, not an extra skill. Because the real horror of deepfakes is not that AI can create something fake. The real horror is that it can hit a real person with something fake that spreads through real people and causes real damage. That is why this matters so much, not because it is futuristic, but because it is already here. Not because it is strange, but because it is becoming normal.